Aloha everybody and welcome back to part 7 of Sonic Mania, and we've launched all the way from Oil Ocean Zone to the Lava Reef Zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I gotta say, that must have been one hell of a trip. Because, like, Oil Ocean takes place on West Side Island, Lava Reef is in Angel Island, and I thought Lava Reef was pretty deep into the island, considering we had to go through Sandopolis to get here. But then again, the background of this particular stage actually exposes the sky, so we could have easily flown in. But that's still quite the launch, quite the launch. That's a huge distance. I didn't realize West Side and Angel Islands were so close to one another. That's nice. Then again, maybe it's just the Phantom Ruby doing crazy tricks with Sonic, and maybe we weren't actually in Oil Ocean Zone just now. Maybe we were in one of Eggman's hamster wheels, and we're just spinning around like a whole bunch, and we didn't actually go anywhere. I don't know. I don't know what the Phantom Ruby's capable of, okay? It's all about illusions and trickery and space distortion and crazy madness that only gets elaborated on with Sonic Forces, but it is quite the gem. It is quite the gem. I don't think they were thinking about how each level relates to one another when they were designing this game. I think they were just trying to bring back old zones, and how we get to those zones, you just launch from a submarine and then we go to Lava Reef. Sure, why not? The next zone after Lava Reef also raises more questions, because then it's like, wait, why is that here in this particular location? Whatever. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that this is a throwback Sonic title made by a whole bunch of people who love Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, I've already gone over, like, Christian Whitehead, Taxman, Simon Tomley, Stealth, who have done a whole bunch of fan Sonic projects, you know? Like, Stealth is actually responsible for programming, like, Sonic Mega Mix, one of the most popular fan games I think everyone knows about. But even stuff like the illustration, the animation at the beginning of the game, that was animated by Tyson Hess, who is such a huge Sonic fan and actually signed up with the Archie and IDW comics to actually illustrate for those comic series. And one of Tyson Hess's best works, in my opinion, is the Sonic Mega Drive mini-series that he did for Archie, which was fantastic. Like, oh my god, the art in that comic book, all the little references and all the little stuff in that, it was just, it was, the Sonic Mega Drive mini-series was so damn good. And he did the opening animation, you know, along with his wife and whatnot, and there's a lot of people that worked on Sonic Mania. T. Lopes is obviously a huge Sonic fan. You got the people at Pagoda West Games, I'm sure, are huge Sonic fans. Like, this is a huge labor of love from people who actually really love Sonic the Hedgehog. And I think one of the taglines for this game was, you know, by the fans, for the fans, or for the fans, by the fans, or something like that. Because, yeah, this isn't just like your typical Sonic Team game. This is actually something designed and developed by people who really, really enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog. People who know Lava Reef and Oil Ocean and all these things intimately because they grew up with the series just as much as we did. And when you have people who love Sonic actually making official Sonic games, and they happen to be, like, really good Sonic games to boot, like some of the best Sonic games that have come out ever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love Generations to death, and if I'm going to be painfully honest, I still like Generations more than Mania. You know, there's been a lot of great Sonic games throughout the years. I wouldn't be doing this series if I didn't like a majority of these games. I still like a whole bunch of this stuff, but, you know, it's a nice, interesting development for the series to see, like, fans actually working on these games. Because, like, maybe we could get some pretty quality titles with this new development team and see what they can do with the future or something like that. But, you know, maybe they'll just work on 2D classic games forever. I don't know. But anywho, folks, we got the boss of Lava Reef. This thing is impervious to damage until it keeps drilling through these rocks, at which point its armor keeps getting more damaged and damaged and damaged, and then you can start jumping into him. And you also got to watch out because when it's red hot, you can't touch him either, because it will burn Sonic when he tries to jump into him. So, for example, I just lost my rings because I touched the hot mini boss, and I should have waited a little bit, but it's okay. I like that boss fight quite a bit because it plays around with the environment. You actually want to lead it into the rock formations. You don't want to stand where the lava is. You don't want to stand where he's already dug through. You want to lead him all over the map so that he keeps burying through the rocks and destroying his armor. And all the while, you gotta dodge all the stalactites that are falling from the ceiling and whatnot. And that's pretty good, pretty good. I like it a lot. But, yeah. I was just saying that, you know, Sonic Mania is a labor of love, and that's what makes it pretty special and unique in comparison to a whole bunch of Sonic games. Not to say that the people working at Sonic Team don't love Sonic. They must obviously love Sonic, but they seem to be out of touch of what the Sonic fandom wants, you know? I mean, here's the thing. I don't mind when they take risks like with Sonic Lost World. I'm fine with Sonic Lost World. I'm one of the few people who like that game. And I don't even object to the fact that, like, oh, all Sonic games need to be something a certain way. They all need to have the boost formula. They all need to be classic Sonic. They all need to be this. They all need to be that. No, Sonic should take chances. Sonic should try and do something different. I feel like if you just do the same thing over and over again, that's how your series stagnates. That's how you get kind of bored of something. Because, like, I look at the Assassin's Creed series, and look, I'm sure there's lots of Assassin's Creed fans watching this video right now, and if you love the series still, all the power to you. But I played through, like, 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, and for me, that was kind of it. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't play 4, I didn't play Origins, or Odyssey, or Unity, or how many bajillion friggin' Assassin's Creed games there are, but you gotta imagine, when you keep creating the same kind of game over and over and over again, oh, but this time we added pirate ships. Oh, but this time you can romance people and have sex with them, huh? You know, they add these little things here and there, but it doesn't feel like the gameplay changes too significantly that I got bored of that series and I didn't want to play it again. I didn't care about Assassin's Creed after that point, because I just felt like I was going through the numbers with every single entry. Like, yeah, I know what to expect, I know what to do, I'll do this and do that and do this and do that, and it was just like, eh. You know, I like Sonic Lost World for taking a chance. It didn't need to be a boost formula Sonic game, and I know people would have preferred that because that's what they really liked with Generations, but, you know, they were working on that kind of system since, like, before 2008 when they were making Sonic Unleashed, because the daytime stages were that. Sonic Colors was that. Generations was that. I can understand if the developers wanted to do something different because they were bored of working on the same thing over and over again, you know? And hell, one of my favorite Sonic titles, one of the most underrated games in the series, in my opinion, Sonic and the Black Knight. That's the game where Sonic goes into the King Arthur storybook, and he wields a sword, and you cut things up as Sonic with a sword, with motion controls and stuff, and it's nothing like traditional Sonic, but I enjoy that game quite a bit for what it was, you know? Sonic Heroes, the 3-person gameplay. That's not what the classic games were about. That's not what Sonic Adventure is about. But Sonic Heroes is one of my favorite games because there is no other Sonic game that plays like that, where you have to manage 3 different characters at the same time and use all of their abilities to get through the levels. I think that's so creative and fun, and that game is fun. I love that game to death. I don't care what anyone says. Just don't play the PS2 version of Sonic Heroes, because the PS2 version sucks. Really bad slowdown, really bad frame rate. It is not very good, but without a trace, that trophy pops when you use these legs to walk through the lava. I think everyone's going to get this trophy, honestly, because otherwise you're taking unnecessary damage. So it feels like the trophy everyone is always going to get, unless there's a different route I'm not familiar with. And that's my 3rd special stage ring in just Act 2 alone. There's a lot of special stage rings in this act. Oh yeah. But anywho, I don't even know why I went on this tangent. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, you know, it's fine when Sonic goes back to what we like about the series, and certainly what we liked about Sonic Mania is that it plays like Sonic 3 and K, and that's awesome, that's awesome. But I don't necessarily object to the idea of Sonic doing something different. I would rather the developers try something different, and, you know, sometimes even the good stuff can get kind of boring, especially if you don't do them right. But, yeah, folks, we're getting to the end of Lava Reef Zone, and a pretty unique thing of Lava Reef Zone is that there's actually 2 pathways that Sonic and Tails can go to, and one that only Knuckles can go to. And so I'm right here. It's right here. If I go left, I can't get through that. I can't spin dash through that wall. but if I go right, I can climb up here, and then I'll be reaching the boss of Lava Reef Zone. So, pay attention to that moment, pay attention, because we'll be coming right back to it. But for now, let's reach the end of Lava Reef and, get on top of this airship thing. Oh god! And here we have another hard-boiled heavy to battle with. This time it is the Heavy Rider. She's a stunt egg robo who rides a Motobug named Jimmy. And honestly, probably one of the trickier hard-boiled heavies just because of the big swinging ball and chain that she's throwing around throughout this boss fight. Because I have to sort of time it. Like, you'll notice, guys, I haven't taken damage yet. It's not because I'm phasing through it with the flame shield. I'm waiting and making sure that I jump into it when it's out of her way. When it's, like, when there's a clear path between me and Heavy Rider that I can jump into her. And it's tricky because sometimes the Motobug jumps up and you bounce into the Motobug. Sometimes flames come out of the middle. And the only reason I'm surviving that attack is because I have the flame shield. But I'm like patiently waiting for Heavy Rider to come to me. I'm watching where the ball chain is swinging, and I'm making sure that I jump into her when it's out of my way. So it's very specific timing, and it's very easy to take damage and get hit by her. So, yeah. And by the way, that is Little Planet, because our next zone is a Sonic CD location. But, going back to the Knuckles playthrough. So, I'm going to go to the right pathway where Heavy Rider was, and I can't really get up there, because Knuckles' jump is much lower. And he can't climb this wall either, so I'm stuck. I can't do anything. So let's go left instead. And oh, the thing that Sonic couldn't spin dash through, Knuckles can plow through no problem. Interesting, interesting. Either way. Gotta be careful here. Glide over the Bottomless Pit, because this is Bottomless Pit. Be careful. The good news is I have a flame shield, so I don't need to worry about going with the timing of the flames. Again, I love the elemental shields and how they can protect you from certain dangers in this game. It's fantastic. Fantastic, I say. But Knuckles finds himself going into the Hidden Palace Zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and that place happened to hold Knuckles' Master Emerald. So, there might be something important here. I don't know. That's right, Knuckles does not take on the Heavy Rider. Instead, he takes on the leader of the hard-boiled heavies, the Heavy King. And honestly, this fight is a lot easier than Heavy Rider, if I'm going to be honest. The hitbox for the Heavy King, by the way, is his belly. Don't try to jump into his head. Try and jump into his belly, because that's where you're going to get the most damage. But Heavy King, he absorbs the power of the Master Emerald to charge up his wand, in which case he'll create a whole bunch of energy balls that can either aim for where you are, and you gotta be careful. Unlike me! Sometimes they'll rotate in a line and like spread all over the arena, and you have to hide behind one of the Super Emeralds in order to avoid damage. And sometimes he shoots a laser along the ground, and as long as you're standing on the Super Emeralds, you'll be fine. And yeah, the Super Emeralds are technically in Sonic Mania, but they're gray and cracked, and I don't think they're gonna work ever again. I think they got used in Sonic 3 and K, and now they're dead. So, oh well. We'll miss Hypersonic, but whatever. And so Heavy King leaves without the Master Emerald. Good. Don't you dare take that big goddamn energy source, you prick. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from. Either way, Knuckles' Lava Reef is mostly the same otherwise. Same mini-boss from Act 1, same level design. And then he goes into this warp device to go to the next zone, which is Metallic Madness, the final zone of Sonic CD. And since we have one more level until the final boss, I wanted to, well, one more level until the final level, which has the final boss. But I figured I'd play with Tails, because I've only played with him in Chemical Plant, and I wanted to give him one more solo level. But Also, I think of it as a good callback to the re-release of Sonic CD that Taxman and Stealth worked on, because Tails was finally playable in that version of Sonic CD. He wasn't playable in the original version of Sonic CD, but now he's in Sonic CD thanks to the developers of this game. So why not? Why not? You know, why not? Although Metallic Madness, I like the music quite a bit. What T-Lopes did with Act 1 is fantastic. But if I'm gonna be honest, I've always thought Metallic Madness was a poor man's Metropolis zone. I would have vastly preferred Metropolis for the music and for the fast pace that it has, but, you know. The enemy placement here is still dickish. I still don't like the enemy placement in this zone. Either way, if you manage to climb all those crumbling blocks and get to this thing, you'll find yourself another special stage. Booyah! I do like the foreground, background stuff. That's pretty fun. You just hit these little, because originally in Sonic CD, those, like, teeter-totter things that you hit, they launched the spike that's supposed to land on the other side, and it's supposed to be, like, sideways, not the other way. So it didn't launch you into the background in the original Sonic CD, but it does with Mania. So that's something fun that they did with those teeter-totter launcher things. What's the word I'm looking for? Is it teeter-totter? Pendulums? I don't know what you'd call it. Why are you pushing around spikes, buddy? Why are you pushing around spikes? But fun thing about the Knuckles segment, I love when Heavy King is grabbing the Master Emerald and Knuckles has that little thought bubble. He's remembering, like, the events of Sonic 3 and K and, like, how Eggman grabbed it and shocked him with electricity. He's like, no, I'm not letting this happen again. But the crude drawing, the weird, like, cartoonish drawing of Knuckles in his thought bubble really reminds me of the Sonic Mega Drive mini-series that Archie did that Tyson Hess drew, because it reminds me so much of this moment where Sonic asks Knuckles how he tricked him again. Knuckles gets tricked again by Dr. Eggman. I mean, he's a bit of an idiot.
Shut up!
Sorry, had to do it. But, in that panel, when Knuckles is explaining how Eggman tricked him again, it's done with, like, this crude, like, unfinished drawing, like, really sloppy, weird, like, kid's drawing of Knuckles, where he's, like, exaggerated, and Eggman's all cute, and Knuckles is all mighty and special and powerful, and it reminds me so... The thought bubbles remind me so much of that panel that I feel like it has to be intentional, and, you never thought I'd see the games referencing the comics like that. That's, again, Sonic Mania, by the fans, for the fans, good lord. Either way, folks, we're at the mini-boss of Metallic Madness, and it turns out to be the final boss of Sonic 1! The pistons, the energy balls, but this time we have rings, so we don't have to worry about getting killed in one hit, so it's fairly easier. Actually, the final boss of Mania doesn't have you fighting it with no rings either. And that was a thing with all the classic games, you know, like the Death Egg Robot in Sonic 2, the Piston Boss in Sonic 1, even, like the Doomsday Death Egg Robot. If you die in that segment, there's no rings in that boss fight, so you'll start with 0 rings, if you die to it, and you, like, went into it with a whole bunch of rings, but, they don't do that anymore with Sonic games, and they don't do that with Sonic Mania. But either way, in its pinch mode, it just constantly comes out, and every 4 pistons, Eggman seems to pop out, so it's just sort of a rhythm you get down, and when you know what the 4th piston is, you know that Eggman's gonna be in it, and you just jump into him, no problem. But, yeah. Get to take on that final boss again. So actually, we've taken out the Piston Boss in Metallic Madness. We took out the Death Egg Robot in Green Hill Zone. I kept waiting for the Doomsday Boss. I kept waiting for, you know, that particular fight to show up in 3 and K. But it doesn't, so that's fine. Also, we're in the present of Metallic Madness. We don't go into the good future, bad future, past versions of this level. I think present is just good enough. We've already done the time traveling in Stardust Speedway, so whatever. Whatevs. I say that a lot, don't I? Whatevs. But I digress. That's no good. But anywho... I'm sorry, I got catchphrases. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe my commentary is stagnating. I don't know. Did I pass through that? Or maybe that's one of the ones that turn you big. I can't remember. Either way, they do have that gimmick back from Sonic CD. The lasers that turn you itty-bitty. They turn you mini. And then you got these cute mini sprites of Sonic, of Tails, and of Knuckles when you play through this stage. And that's pretty fun, pretty adorable. You wonder why Eggman doesn't use that laser more often in so many of his adventures. If he has a laser that can turn Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles mini, why doesn't he use it? That could have been Sonic Labyrinth 2, you know? Instead of slapping slow-moving shoes that make Sonic walk around like he did in Sonic Labyrinth, because that was a plot once upon a time, then how about he goes to Sonic's house and he turns a mini and he gets lost in, like, his front yard, and now he's in, like, the land of the ladybugs and the land of tiny little insects, and now no one can find Sonic because he's too itty-bitty tiny. I don't know. He's got the technology, clearly. And it doesn't seem like Sonic or Tails can get out of this without running into another laser. It doesn't seem to wear off after a while, but then again... I don't know. I don't know. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I love that. I always love going on those anti-gravity rings that have been in plenty of Sonic games, holding down, and then just, like, launching at the right angle to jump. That's good stuff. I like it a lot. Also, I like this segment, because they changed how this worked. In Sonic CD, it was very slow-moving. You just reacted to the slow spike ceilings with their openings coming down very slowly. And then you just dodged it. But in this version, in Mania, they come by really fast with a projection telling you where the open space is going to be, which is a little more thrilling, a little more fast-paced, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Anywho, folks, time for the boss of Metallic Madness. Of course, it's Dr. Eggman, and he's got a whole bunch of capsules this time around, and when you flip the handle... Amy Rose, there you are! What the hell? Where have you been? Well, actually, it's an Amy Rose robot that wants to hug you and strangle you and blow up on you, so we don't want to accept Amy's hugs this time around. Get off me! Good lord. And the other capsules are the Drill Tank boss from Sonic 2's Emerald Hill Zone, as well as the flame-dropping Eggmobile from Marble Zone back in Sonic 1. And, yeah. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm letting all the capsules out before I, destroy any of them, because you actually get a trophy for that. If you just destroy every single thing that comes out as they come out, like, you can just release one thing, destroy the Amy robot, release the next thing, destroy the drill tank, release the next thing, destroy whatever. And that makes the fight a hell of a lot easier, but... collect them all. That trophy only happens if you let every single gotcha capsule out and then destroy them. Because it makes the thing a little harder when you have to deal with all these things, you know? You have to deal with, like, all of these things flying around. And it can get pretty hectic. Your rings are probably going to scatter a lot. Either way, folks, it's time for the end. It's time we reach our final destination, because right there in the background, that big... giant egg robo-looking structure. That is the final zone. That is Titanic Monarch. And we're going to be ending this adventure in Part 8. Till then.